True talk. Miz in the midday. It's funny. When Miz threw out the name Milroe about 2-3 months ago, told some of the fan base, Twitter spaces. Obviously, we know some fans like to antagonize. It's all good. When I said Milroe can be the next Lamar Jackson, and obviously Lamar Jackson is a special damn player, so to be a Lamar Jackson is not likely. But when you say something like that, it's like you're trying to give some credit to a guy. You think he can be that style type of quarterback. Maybe not on that level, but he could be something that can raise a franchise, an offense, the future of the New York Giants. And I said Milroe is a damn good player, the best athlete in this draft. That has value. His running and ability to maneuver is off the charts. His arm is a bazooka, okay? Might be the strongest arm out of any quarterback in this draft. Talking about the deep ball. Velocity, right? Zip. The bomb. He needs work on his anticipation, and he needs work on accuracy. Those are two major things. But he would never touch the field this year. Maybe late December if the Giants are gone and out of it. Give him a game or two. Get his feet ready for the following year. Let him taste the NFL. But he's not going to play this year because you got Russell Wilson and Winston. What a perfect beast of an athlete. And the one that fits the coach. Now, whether the coach will be here in 2 years or not, I can't predict that. But he's here now, so you gotta plan as if he'll succeed and be here. I'm not planning to fire the guy this coming December. That's not how you want to plan things. You definitely don't want these things to happen. You want to succeed and grow. Get much better this year. Get better in 26. We're headed somewhere. When I come in and say Milroe could be that next special guy and he's the perfect type of quarterback per what Dable's style of football is, right? He wants a guy that can run the RPO, also throw, but a guy that can definitely run, buy time, take off. A threat with his legs as much with his arm. People said, nah, Milroe's garbage. I don't want no part of Milroe, not even at 34. Just stupid, incompetent talk by some fans that are just ignorant. And all they know is Shedeur. Nobody else exists in this draft. Only Shedeur. And nothing against Shedeur. He's got great accuracy. He's a very smart guy. He's confident. He comes from football. Yes, all of that. He survived getting beat up for 2 years behind a terrible O-line in Colorado, and he still delivered. Yes. He lacks major zip on his ball. His balls flutter. And you're coming to one of the windier places in the country, in the Northeast. Listen. No one's done more homework than the New York Giants scouting department, Joe Schoen and Dable on Shedeur in the last year. And they're going to see him again tomorrow one more time to make sure if it's a yes or a no. My belief, you got to have your head examined if you pass on Abdul Carter, if he somehow gets to 3, if the Browns let him slip to 3. Because this guy's the game wrecker. You talk about the 3rd pick in the draft, you got to take the sure thing. Sure, game-changing, game-wrecking, makes a difference in the NFC conference type of player. That's Abdul Carter. You can't take the quarterback that I'm not so sure, maybe if, I will work on him. No, not at 3. Not when Carter and Hunter are there. And I'm not a fan of Hunter because I don't feel the Giants need Hunter. I'm not drafting a guy for wide receiver at 3 after we drafted Neighbors last year. And we don't really need the lockdown corner. I think our secondary's looking pretty set. You need other things. But you always add a game-wrecking edge rusher who potentially could be generational. And mirror images of Micah Parsons. And the guy doesn't just rush And his bending ability is ridiculous. He could drop back and cover as a linebacker too. You don't pass on this guy. I'm sorry. I know people want like Shedeur at 3, but you can't pass at Carter. I believe the Giants are trying to get Carter at 3, and they're going to do what they can to come up as far as they can in the first round to try to steal Shedeur. And if they did that, boy, that would be lotto. I think the entire Giant fan base would be bouncing off the ceilings on round 1 if they walked away night 1 with that. But realistically, you got a Milroe that they could slide up a few spots for, or maybe even hold at 34, but you got to watch the Browns at 33. You got to kind of going to have to hop them. Both teams are going to look for that quarterback with that second pick or to move up. They're going to try to slide up. And the other team you got to watch is the Steelers at 21. We all know that. So if you were going to hop anyone, you're going to probably try to hop the Steelers at 21 and get to 20. But when I said Milroe was the guy that I wanted for the Giants with the second pick, wherever that may be, you get Carter, you now have an elite. There is no doubt about it. You got one of the best defenses in football. Arguably maybe the best D in the NFC conference. And that's exactly what you're going to need when you're going to play the Eagles, Washington, and Dallas. Okay? Especially the Eagles with their offensive line. You got a defense that can match that. You take the line at 3, and then you do what you got to do to get the quarterback. I don't care. If you got to come up, you come up. Even if you have to spend some picks. I'd rather not get rid of Kayvon. I'd like to have the 3 rotation. I believe Kayvon is still growing. Once we commit to stopping the run, which we're going to have the D-line to do this year, you're going to see a better Kayvon off the edge. But if you got to add him in a package to come up, if there's a chance you could come steal Shedeur, then you add him in the package and you go get your guy. My thing is Carter is way more of the lock type of player. The level that he plays on, I believe, is way more a lock than drafting the could-be quarterback. Maybe, could be. Not the sure thing. At 3, we can ill afford to gamble and take a chance on a what if or a could be. At 3, you got to take the lock. And to me, those 2 players, Hunter and Carter, are the 2 locks of this draft. You know what you're getting. You're getting a stud. Game changers. Difference makers. And we need that right now. Because they brought in 2 QBs. So they are not bare naked. You do not have to reach desperately. But you can make the moves you got to make to come back up and get him if you can. And if not, again. Why is it when I say Milroe, 2 months ago, people pushed back and said he's garbage when he is completely not garbage? He's got special abilities that need to be brought out. And Dable was the guy we brought here to bring those things out of a quarterback. Boy, I would love to have a Milroe with a Carter. I believe Milroe could be big time. And the NFC East doesn't have a QB like that. That can do, this guy can do the things Lamar does. He could throw the deep ball. He could run. You have to be so worried about him as a running threat that it's going to open guys in the passing game. And you got the coaching staff to work on his passing. You have a year and a half to work on it because we got some veterans ahead of him. It's funny, when I say Milroe, people came at me hard. He's trash, Miz. He's garbage. I don't want anything near him. I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. But when ESPN comes on and says Milroe could be the next Lamar Jackson because he has all the athletic abilities that Lamar has, oh, suddenly the fans are paying attention. He's catching eyes. I wouldn't mind having him with the second pick. These are the same fans that said he was a trash bag 2 months ago. Funny, huh? Talk about hate. Listen, man. I'm going to say this again. Too bad we can't have both guys, most likely. If the Giants draft Shedeur at 3, I'm going to be his biggest fan because I wear the blue jersey no matter what. And that's what you are as a fan. Yeah, you could judge and you could critique. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you're sitting on your couch on Sunday or you're going to take a ride to the stadium and you become a fan for those 3.5 hours and you root for your team no matter what. At the end of the day, everybody's a GM at home, including me. We're all scouts and GMs and head coaches. But we forgot what we truly are. You are a fucking New York Giants fan. You bleed for that team. And we've suffered for a decade. So whoever they go with 3, we're going to root for the second he walks up to that podium. Whoever it is. But you got to really think. For the second time in 4 years, there's a Micah Parsons that's going to be, hopefully, lands in our lap. You got to have your head examined to pass on a guy like that twice in 4 years. A chance to get back to who we are, identity. New York Giants, physical, vicious defense. And you come over to MetLife or the Meadowlands, you're walking into a defense that's going to beat you black and blue. Oh, but Miz, this ain't the 80s and 90s no more. That's not how football is played. Fuck that. Fuck that. The Ravens have been playing that type of football for 20 years now. The Niners been playing that type of football. I don't want to hear that bullshit. You get back to physical, vicious football on the defensive side of the ball, and you get yourself a bull running back in this draft to go along with Tracy, and you start pounding the rock again because you play in the Northeast, and until you get back to being the New York Football Giants, you're going to suck nuts, and I don't care who the quarterback is. Bottom line, trenches, run the ball, defense. The New York Football Giants are about defense. And Abdul Carter's got New York Giants written fucking all over his face and body. He is that man. He's him. And you gotta take him at 3. And then you do what you gotta do to come up and get some quarterback. Just do it. And don't complain as fan base. Oh, but they gotta trade a 1 next year. Or they gotta give it 2 twos. Yo, if Shane could come back up to 8 at Carolina, and he can hand them a Kayvon for an edge rusher because we took away theirs last year. And he could give them like, I don't know, 2 twos, 1 this year, 1 next year. And you give him a Kayvon. Maybe you throw in a 3. You try not to give up the 1 next year or whatever they got to do. But you could come back up and get Shedeur at 8. I know it's unlikely. But there are whispers out there. And you know, it seems like Joe Shane's got something cooking. They're going to do something. There's going to be a move somewhere. Imagine you walk away on night 1 with Carter on one side and Shedeur Sanders as your quarterback. Think of the positives instead of always the negatives. And if you can't get Shedeur, you try to get Milroe. And I'm not totally out on Tyler. Some people hate him. There are scouts and GMs in the league that say he's the best passer of the bunch. I know he's 25 years old. Me, I'm taking my gamble on Milroe. Thinking of the future 2 years from now and on. Because that's the type of guy that you're going to need in this NFC East. This division is at a high level right now. I don't know. But if Joe Shane is listening, I want Joe Shane to gamble this draft. I want you to go all out. I want the beast at 3, and I want you to come up and get the real quarterback if you can. And I don't care. Give up some things. It is what it is. It's time to make moves. It's time for the New York Giants to become something. Miz.